Dear students, good morning to all. Now we will going to discuss about chapter 7, chapter 9, soil. Listen, this is the annual portion, book exercise, question and answers. Okay, explain how soil is formed. The soil is formed through the process of weathering. Weathering is a process of physical breakdown and chemical decomposition of rocks and minerals near or at the surface of the earth. This physical and chemical decomposition is primarily done by wind, water, and climate. As a result of this process, large rock pieces are converted into smaller pieces and eventually to the soil. Okay. Next, how is clay soil useful for crops? How is clay soil useful for crops? The clay soil useful for it has very good water holding capacity. It is rich in organic matter. Okay. Then for growing crops such as wheat, gram and paddy, the soil that is good that retaining water and rich in organic matter is suitable. Therefore, clay soil having these characteristics are useful for such kind of crops. Next, what is the difference between clay soil and loamy soil? Listen, clay soil, it has much smaller particles. Loamy soil, it has much larger particles. It can hold good amount of water. It can hold water. Then it is fertile. It is not fertile. Air content is low. The air get trapped between the particles. Then particles are tightly packed. Which one is tightly packed? Clay soil is tightly packed. Then loamy soil is practicals or loosely packed. Clay soil is good for growing various crops. Loamy soil not suitable for growing crops. That is the difference of clay soil and loamy soil, students. The next one, what is amount of percolation rate? The given amount of water 200 ml. The percolation time 40 minutes. So the percolation rate, the equation, the formula, the amount of water divided by percolation time. Okay, 200 ml divided by 40 minutes. The answer is 5 milliliter per minute. Okay. Then next, students, explain how soil pollutions and soil erosions can be prevented. The prevention of soil pollution. How to prevention of soil pollutions? The persistence build up of toxic compounds in the soil is defined as soil pollutions. To prevent soil pollution, its causes must be controlled. Then reduce the use of plastics. Plastics and polythene bags destroy the fertility of soil. Hence, these should be disposed of properly and, if possible, their use should be avoided. Then, next, industrial pollutants. Some waste products from industries and home pollute soil. These pollutants should be treated chemically to make them harmless before they are disposed of. Then next, students, insecticides. Other pollutants of soil include pesticides and insecticides. Therefore, excessive use of these substances should be avoided. Then next, prevention of soil erosion. How to prevention of soil erosion, students? The removal of the upper fertile layer of the soil by strong wind and flowing water is known as soil erosion. The following steps, what is the reduce soil erosion? Mass awareness to reduce deforestation for industrial purposes. helping local people to regenerate degrading forest, then planting trees. Next chapter, students, chapter 10, respiration in animals and plants. This is also animal portion. Listen, some question and answers discussed now. Listen, why does an athlete breathe faster and deeper than usual after finishing the race? The answer is during the run, the demand of energy is high, but the supply of oxygen to produce energy is limited. Therefore, anaerobic respiration takes place in the muscle cells to fulfill the demand of energy. After finishing the race, an athlete breathes faster and deeper than usual so that more oxygen is supplied to the cells. Then next, list the similarities and the difference between aerobic and anaerobic respirations. The answer is in both aerobic and anaerobic respiration, food is breakdown to release energy. Both takes place inside cells. Both produces byproducts. The next, students, what is the mainly difference between aerobic and anaerobic respiration? Aerobic means it takes place in the presence of oxygen. Anaerobic means it takes place in the absence of oxygen. Then energy is released is higher amount. Energy is released in lesser amount. Aerobic, carbon dioxide and water are produced as byproducts. Carbon dioxide and water are produced as byproduct. It is a slow process. It is a fast process. Example, animal and plant cells. Example, human cells, yeast, bacteria, etc. Next, students, why do we often sneeze when we inhale a lot of dust laden air? Answer, we often sneeze when we inhale a lot of dust laden air to expel out these foreign particles. These particles get past the hair in the nasal cavity and irritate the lining of the cavity, which results in sneezing. Next, students, we will going to discuss about chapter 11. This is also animal portions, transpirations in animals and plants. Listen, students, why is transport of materials necessary in a plant or an animal? Explain. Transport of materials is necessary for plants or animals because due to it the nutrients and oxygen are made available to all the parts of the body. If the transport of necessary nutrients and oxygen does not take place in the body will not be able to survive. The next, students, that will happen if there are no platelets in the blood. The blood platelets are responsible for the clotting of blood. When some injury occurs, blood starts flowing, but it clots on its own. If there are no platelets, the blood will not be able to clot and keep on flowing. Huge loss of blood ultimately causes death. Next, students, what are stomata? What are stomata? Give two junctions of stomata. There are small openings on the lower surface of the leaves. These pores are called stomata. These openings are surrounded with guard cells. Next, functions of stomata. What is the functions of stomata, students? It helps in the transpirations of water, the loss of excess water from the plant. Loss of water from the stomata creates an upward pull, that is, the succussion pull, which helps in absorptions of water from the roots. They help in exchange of gases. Next, students, does transpiration serve any useful functions in plants? And the answer is it helps to enhance the absorptions of water and dissolved minerals by creations of a suction spool. Then it helps in getting rid of the excess water. It helps in transport of water and minerals to leaves, and leaves use the water for photosynthesis. Then it produces a cooling effect on the plate. Next question, students, what are the components of blood? There are four components of blood. Plasma is a liquid part of the blood which is yellowish in color and contain 90% water. It contains food, enzymes, wastes and proteins. Or red blood cells or disc shaped cells containing red colored pigment called hemoglobin. Hemoglobin helps in transpirations of oxygen. Then next, students, white blood cells are the fighting cells which protects us against bacteria and foreign materials causing infections. Platelets helps in clotting of the blood. Why is blood needed by all parts of the body? Blood is needed by all parts body because contains digested food and oxygen in it. It supplies the oxygen digested food to various parts of the body to provide essential energy to them, which helps the body to perform various functions. What makes the blood look red? A red pigment called hemoglobin. So the blood is red in color. This pigment helps in carrying oxygen to various parts of the body. Listen, students. Listen, students. Does respiration serves any useful functions in plants? It helps to enhance the absorptions of water and dissolve the minerals. Listen. It helps in getting rid of the excess water. It helps in transport of water and minerals to leaves, and leaves use the water to photosynthesis. Then it produces a cooling effect on the plant. That is a useful functions of plants. Next, students, what are the components of blood? What are the components of blood, students? Plasma, red blood cells, white blood cells. Plasma is a liquid part of blood which is yellowish in color and contain 90% water. It contains food, enzymes, waste and proteins, etc. Red blood cells are disc shaped cells containing red color pigment called hemoglobin in it. Hemoglobin helps in transportations of food. Next, white blood cells. White blood cells fighting cells with protect us against bacteria and foreign materials causing infections. Then last final one, platelets. Platelets helps in clotting of the blood. What is the main function of platelets? Clotting of blood. Next, students, why blood is needed by all parts of the body? Blood is needed by all parts of body because it contains the digested food and oxygen. Supplies the oxygen and digested food the various parts of the body to provide essential energy them which helps the body to perform various functions. Next, what makes the blood look red? A red pigment called hemoglobin gives the blood is red in color. This pigment helps in carrying oxygen to various parts of the body by blood. Next, students, describe the functions of heart. What are the functions of heart? What is a heart? Heart is what are the four chambers of heart? Auricle, two auricles and two ventricles. What is made up of heart? Which muscles? Smooth muscles. Heart is another one name myocardial, myocardium. The right auricle and ventricle receive blood with carbon dioxide from all parts of the body. The collected blood is then pumped to the lungs of the purifications. In lungs, the exchange of gases takes place and purified blood is sent back to left auricle. The pumps of left ventricle, which turn pumps of the blood to all parts of the body by through the arteries. Why it is necessary to excrete wastage products? Certain waste, the toxic products are formed during functioning of body cells. The waste products like urea and etc. are toxic when these toxic materials are not removed from the body. They get mixed with blood and can damage cells of the body. It is necessary to remove such positions, waste materials from our body. See the picture, student. This is a diagram, human kidney diagram. Listen, students. Draw a diagram of human excretory system. See the picture: kidney, renal vein, ureter, renal artery, then urinary bladder. This one is urethra, the last one urinary opening. Okay, so all of you practice this diagram, students. Human excretory system. Listen once again, students. All of you go through the annual portions. Okay, book back, book exercise, fill ups, choose, match the following true or false. All are them. So all book back questions, then interior. So students should all of you go through this chapters. Okay, if you any doubt you contact with me, students. Thank you.